Man, I just had him. There he is. All right. Okay, so let me introduce to you No Name. No Name was in the Discord with Lava. Sent me a video of a Snapchat conversation between Kris Tyson and himself, um, going back to like 2018, like that time frame where a lot of these screenshots and inappropriate jokes, if we're going to call them that, which, in my opinion, a lot of them are not jokes. What do you got for us, No Name? Can you just kind of tell us the entire story?
Yo, what up? So, actually, so who do you know? I'm curious. I've been pretty updated on it. Do you know how many people have actually came out with screenshots? Because all I've seen is like lava, and then uh, I saw some Discord, like one Discord screenshot, and then I put stuff out. Are there a lot more people than that? I kind of want to know what's going on before I get into it.
Well, we are talking to a few people behind the scenes and just trying to get the facts out.
Okay.
I have to like vet people, make sure they're not like, look, let me say this, and I think everyone here can agree if you're being honest. There is 100% misinformation being spread online on Twitter right now
Oh yeah.
about Kris Tyson. So it's like really important that we like do the work and try to figure out what exactly is real.
So
Because go ahead.
here's my point of view on it. So I met Kris back 2018. I was playing CS:GO. I was 14. I was playing CS:GO, and then I met Kris in a CS lobby, and then literally just pure luck. And then basically, I don't know. I literally don't know how it went down, but met him in the CS lobby, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm Kris." I'm like, holy shit! Like what? Because Mr. Beast was pretty popping at that time. So I joined he invited me to the Discord, ended up adding me on Steam. It was like his alt Steam account, and we would just go on CS and like mess around. This was back in 2018. So yeah, we would play CS from time to time. Yeah, I was in the Discord. I actually didn't realize Lava was in the same Discord until I was going back on like some old recordings that I had of the Discord, and I saw Lava's I saw that he was actually in the Discord. His Discord name was lava.jpg. I'm pretty sure it's the same person. I haven't actually reached out to Lava yet. But yeah, so we were in that Discord, and then I ended up getting. I'm just referring to Kris at the time.
Wait, real quick. I'm gonna put you on a timeout just for a second because
Yeah,
I'm gonna reach out to Lava right now, and let's just get Lava on stage, or excuse me, Lava on stage as well.
yeah,
Bear with me.
dude.
Go ahead.
I've actually been trying to reach out to Lava because this is my point of view on it. I not that many people were actually in that Discord that have come out about anything. Um, I've literally seen Lava and then one other like screenshot that I know is like I mean seems legit, but I feel like Lava's the only actual other person that's like he blew up about it. He's been speaking about it, but I'll say this. So uh, I put out a screenshot in a video of me and Kris's chat, like our Snapchat, and then that blew up. Like I put it out when I went to bed. I didn't think anything of it. Like I was just like, yeah, I'll post this. I'll see what happens. Um, and then I woke up, and then it was like all over Drama Alert and like all over everywhere. It had like millions of views, and then yeah, it blew up. But I mean, I'll be honest. People were putting tons of words in my mouth. Like they were making it seem like it was like some crazy stuff, but in reality, honestly, it was never anything like that. Um, but yeah, I honestly agree with Lava's standpoint. Um, that was just the humor at the time, like, dude, we were all watching like Leafy on YouTube, and like that's just how people talked. But yeah, bro, if you
So,
could get
so
Lava,
you think the nature of the Discord was just like edgy humor?
yeah, it was
Was
100%,
it
bro.
was it over the top sexual though?
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say no because it wasn't like that though. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't.
Um,
It wasn't in a weird way.
when did you?
Keemstar, you said publicly, sorry, you said publicly that Kris Tyson supported the artist that drew your daughter inappropriately. Your daughter, obviously much younger, very extremely inappropriate, illegal, because it's pretty much just CP at that point. If he's supporting an artist, at what point is that a joke? If he's buying their artwork, at what point is that a joke still? Like, I love Levy is Here. I love 2016 Keemstar. I love all that shit. But at what point is that a joke anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean that's just disgusting. It's literally disgusting. And Chris Tyson wasn't the only content creator that supported Shadman. In fact, there's whole threads right now on Reddit that's breaking right now of all the content creators that supported Shadman. Ricky Berwick, I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with him, supported Shadman. A lot of people supported this guy, and they thought it was funny that he was drawing children in sexual situations. Like this is a time frame where for some reason people thought this was cool. The only people that spoke out against it was myself, and then as a result fell victim to them drawing my daughter. And then Colossal is Crazy was another one who came out and called this shit out. um, we're like the lone wolves at the time. So, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to people supporting that cartoon child porn artist Shadman. This is the tip of the iceberg. And if you guys don't know what happened to that artist, um, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he is in jail. He got arrested for drawing a 12-year-old. Um, and there's headlines on it. Please look it up. I'm not an expert on this at all. Um, but like this was a very bad individual. Belle Delphine is another one who did a cosplay as this artist, which was pretty fucked up. I mean, a lot of heads are going to roll. And I'm just glad that my career lasted long enough to get justice for this because I was calling this out in 2016 being like, this is fucking wrong, this is sick, twisted shit. Um, and I was yelling at a wall. I didn't realize that I was actually screaming at the year 2024 when justice would actually be served, but apparently that's what I was doing. um, all right, let me try to get Lava up here.
Yeah, if you get. If you, I've been trying to talk to Lava, so if you get him in here, that'd be sick.
Game, I'm
Yeah,
sorry that you had to
I'm
go through that.
I,
People get
I,
so pissed off that like right and wrong goes out the window, and somebody they dislike, uh, they will root for the most disgusting thing just because they don't like that person for whatever stupid ass fucking reason, like from YouTube videos or whatever.
yeah, Lava's being very, very careful. He's like really cautious about like what's going to be said and all this. He doesn't want to be taken out of context. So I don't know if Lava's actually going to show up or not, um, which is so strange because Lava's been so outspoken with saying like nothing bad happened. Like then just talk about it. Like what's the issue? Um, have you seen No Name? Have you seen the conversation, the tweets going back and forth with Chris trying to release his nudes if he raises $5?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I saw that, but like at the same time, like, I mean, like I said, that was just the humor at the time. I'm not. I'll say this. I'll say I I believe there was no malintent. I don't see any situation. Well, in our situations at least, I don't see any way that it could have been in like a weird way towards minors. I don't
I
think he
do.
had.
Did you read the tweets?
Yeah,
well,
but I'm saying from my perspective, like I was a part of that. Like I never once felt like Chris was trying to like take advantage of minors. Like it wasn't. I never felt like there was a time like that. But I mean, obviously, yeah. Some of the
I mean, I read that tweet and I'm looking at a 21. I think he was either 20 or 22 at the time. I keep getting these two ages confused. He was either 20 or 22, and he was talking to a 13 or 15-year-old saying, like, something along the lines of, "Oh, why didn't you donate more so I could release my nudes?" Like, I mean, that's fucking weird. It's so weird that you're talking to a
I mean, I'll be
15.
honest. Did he know? I actually don't know. Like, I I mean, half the people on that Discord, Chris had no clue how old they were. Which, I mean, that
He knew the ages of the people he was talking to, though,
I mean, he didn't
at least
know.
inappropriately.
Are you sure about that?
There's text messages, not text messages, but Twitter DMs of the person confirming they're 14. So yeah.
Axe, what do you got for us?
I was wondering about the Shadman thing. He posts other images, right, that aren't just like kind of weird, sketchy, like child weird stuff, right? The Shadman guy. Because someone can support an artist, right, without necessarily like supporting that, right?
No, he was literally known for that. Like, this was his entire identity.
So his entire thing was like drawing kids in like sexual ways.
Yes. And in 2016, every YouTube commentator that was so-called edgy supported him.
A
Yeah, I just
friend
didn't
of
know much about the
mine,
Shadman guy.
sorry,
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
a friend of mine, Void the Warlock, he sent me some like very interesting Reddit comments that Chris made that I haven't seen. Would it be okay if I read some of those?
Sure. Is it about him adding a stash of lolly to his collection?
Um, I there's quite a few photos. I'm sure there's a chance maybe that's in there somewhere. The first one says, but you can still get teen love. 14 years old is always 14. And then it's just for me, I think when people try to make like the defense joke when it or the defense comment for it being a joke, when someone repeatedly makes a joke over and over and over and over, at what point is that a joke, or is there some like true disgusting evil intentions behind them? I right? Because I kind of want to look from a psychological perspective almost, and I don't want to like be the police of comedy or some shit, right? I'm very anti that kind of behavior, right? But at what point is this even a joke anymore? Another comment says, why the fuck would you use your VR headset for anything other than 3D lolly gang rape porn? Take your pants off, sit on the toilet backwards, and fire your load into the bowl. You act like this is your first time. And then he says the F slur. Shadman is going to love this, is another comment he says. Smoke detector beep, which is him replying to some white girl deep throating a large black guy. Then he says, kept black people from stealing my child's bike. So just some racist comments. He says, yeah, BBC cucks are already downvoting me because some more racist stuff that I'm not even gonna read. But my point
Oh
is
yeah,
just like
it's
there's
it's
so
it's
much.
really, really, really bad. The
Just
Chris
like
Tyson old posts are horrible. And just so you know, the reason why people found the Chris Tyson Reddit, right? Because it's Tyson Boy 34. The reason they found that is because Chris Tyson in recent times decided to post an old picture that he posted on Reddit of him dressing up like a girl. And in the quotations or in the tweet, I guess, section, he said, I've always been a FAG or something like that. And you can clearly see that his Reddit username is Tyson Boy 34. So what happened is like sites like Kiwi Farms and Reddit detectives and all that, they went through his entire Reddit history and the things they found just confirmed a lot of the allegations that are being said, that he is very inappropriate with children. He's been racist. He's been homophobic, which is really strange now because just a month ago he was telling me, or excuse me, she was telling me, now in this time frame that I'm speaking, he is a she. She was telling me that she is the major voice for the trans community. Um, I don't think you're the major voice for the trans community anymore, Kris Tyson, but
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
fucking hope not.
Wow, how offensive to the LGBTQ community at this point.
Yeah,
That's kind of like why I wanted to join. I really like, obviously, like anybody that is around minors that much, like regardless of the content that's said, because if you're like, for example, like I played a game like somewhat competitively, right? So a lot of the younger players, like we're like teenagers or younger, right? So, the type of humor like the people will use in this kind of discords like will be kind of like overt, but you have to realize and separate yourself from that. You can't be around, minors as an older person. You have to separate yourself from those environments. But my whole thing is like people trying to like equate like trans people as pedophiles as a whole like is really stupid and makes me kind of like upset. That's kind of the reason I wanted to join.
I do feel that there's been misinformation as far as like Lava being groomed. But at the same time, it's like, how do you think the public is going to perceive that, right? Lava can say that I was not being groomed, right? But the public is going to see all these conversations and be like, well, Kris was clearly talking inappropriately with a minor. Kris was grooming him. Like, that is how they're going to take it every time, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, and the context at this point doesn't really matter, when there's that much evidence and you're talking to that many like young people like that, it's exactly how people are going to take it, right? Regardless of what his intentions were, for sure.
Now, no name,
Or her, sorry.
you met Kris Tyson before the transition, and he was obviously a guy, played Counter Strike. What were your thoughts when he became trans?
I don't really have any thoughts on that. I,
So you did have thoughts.
I,
What you're saying is you had some thoughts.
I plead the fifth.
Were you surprised by that? I mean, this is a guy that you're gaming with. You're having all these edgy jokes back and forth, and
I'll speak on that. I mean, yeah, I was surprised, just because, I mean, uh, Kris was the way he was. It was just like very typical, you know, like gamer guy, like you were saying. But I'll say that I was surprised, but yeah. Also, I was gonna say too, a lot of stuff is getting twisted. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna say like he didn't do anything wrong, but I will say as far as like the lava situation goes, and even some of the stuff I posted is getting twisted. Um, I would say twisted out of proportion. I know a lot of people would probably disagree with that, but I I mean, yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think there was. I don't think the intention was as deep as a lot of people are making it, but I'm also not saying that it wasn't weird at all.
Sir
No name.
Eagle,
Do you think that
what do you
it's
got
okay
for
for
us?
someone that old to? Oh, sorry, Keen. I was
No,
just going to ask.
I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to address the lack of coverage from especially the right side of the media. It is disgusting how long this. I tried looking up sources online to because I cite to other people. I was trying to push the story off on other people so they could get it spread. I guess that it needed to be addressed by Jimmy. Still, I think he still hasn't addressed this. It's disgusting, really. And the left still hasn't talked about it. They don't want to, of course. They won't.
It's I don't think Mr. Beast is ever going to make a statement, and the reason why I don't think Mr. Beast is going to make a statement is because, like, what can he say? that Chris is no longer going to be a part of the videos. We already know that. I just don't think. I don't think if I was Mr. Beast, I wouldn't know what to say. Like, what are you supposed to say? Like,
Just saying that
He's
he
you're
wasn't aware that his best friend was a pedophile and he doesn't support that stuff. I feel like, he doesn't have to give like a big YouTube video, obviously, right? Just a statement saying he doesn't support pedophilia and he was unaware that Chris was, if you think about it in many ways, abusing his platform.
Yeah, I think Jimmy owns a, arguably a multi-billion-dollar company now. He's got to do damage control, just like he said. He's got to get out there and let people know that this is inexcusable. He has an audience now, especially children.
I don't. I highly doubt he'll say anything. I
He's not going
highly
to say
doubt it.
shit. He's not going to say anything, and they're going to say Chris Tyson doesn't work here anymore, or no, Chris made a statement saying I'm not going to work for Mr. Beast anymore. But like you said, he either already owns or is going to own part of Mr. Beast, so he's still part of Mr. Beast getting paid. And then and the Mr. Beast team, all they have to do is just not say shit and wait and wait and wait, and then everyone gets bored of this because something new and shiny to be mad at.
Brad Heat, I understand that you used to work for Mr. Beast. Do I have that right?
No, I didn't. I didn't work for him. I was his 5 million subscriber, and I've done a couple videos with him. But what imperative is he under to even talk about it? Everybody's saying that Mr. Beast needs to talk about it, but why? His friend was doing something behind his back, allegedly.
But
I
Mr. Beast's
I
platform was
personally
huge.
feel like I personally feel like he should put out a statement, but I also know that he's not going to. That's kind of where
I
I'm at.
agree,
Yeah, that's
unfortunately.
He
like
can
that's like
forget
the
running
worst
for
idea
president.
ever.
Hey, Keem, Jake the Viking used to work for Mr. Beast. He was in a bunch of videos, and he said that he's interested in joining.
Yeah, I would definitely have him up. I don't see him though.
He said he's on the phone, and then he would join after.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I know Jake reached out to me today. I've talked to at least 15 people in the Mr. Beast world, former employees, current employees. Yeah, I had to obviously talk to Beast as well to verify some things. It's just I'm exhausted, people. I'm sorry. I probably should have done this space. Like I'm really not prepared. Like we've been going really, really hard today to try to sift through a lot of this nonsense and get to the facts and get to the truth of what's actually happening. I did find it absolutely appalling that Dr. Disrespect um, is completely like banned from the internet pretty much and gone. He's lost everything because he was talking to a minor and inappropriately. And a similar situation happened with Chris Tyson and a lot of streamers and content creators just refuse to talk about it. Some of my competitors that cover online entertainment didn't cover the story or only had like one tweet and were very vague, like weren't really doing any work. And I found it very strange. Like it feels like a lot of people were told not to speak up.
Well,
Um,
okay, I feel like that's obvious. Like when the Doctor Disrespect stuff happened, Twitch, right? Like canceled his contract, right? I think I want to say that he lost a few other like minor sponsors at the time as well, right? And then later on, he lost his own organization, right? And you had like these big entities reporting on it, right? Also with the Chris Tyson thing, it's only been like a day, right? I feel like like the Doctor Disrespect thing was huge because it was a culmination of like 3 or 4 years of wondering. Remember? I feel like it's obvious as to why.
I mean, Chris Tyson was trending for an entire day, and the next day, a lot of these streamers just didn't say anything. And these streamers like make a living based on like stealing other people's content and reacting to it. So it was pretty alarming that they were all hush hush.
That
I
was my
think
point I was trying to make when I first got here. Like I was saying with the conservative right, you think they would have grabbed onto this and pushed this story out to the masses, considering Mr. Beast is on the YouTubes of every single kid in America. This is this is crazy.
well, I think the biggest issue of everything is how nobody really cares about anything. Okay, it's all team sports. Part of the reason I joined as well, like I went super hard on the Dr. Disrespect stuff. So like obviously if somebody like for me, the content of what he's saying, right, things are still coming out. But to me it's being friends with that many minors. But I feel like nobody really cares about pedophilia. It's all about like Dr. Disrespect talked about trans people, so let's shit on him. Or and he's an asshole or whatever. And Chris Tyson is trans, so let's shit on them. Like if you go through the comments of everything, it's all trans people are groomers, blah blah blah. No one actually gives a shit about the kids, right? On both sides, it seems that way. And I
Oh,
wish people
dude.
actually cared about the actual issue itself instead of this
Yeah,
team sports bullshit.
I can tell you this firsthand. Um, we got called transphobic for covering the Chris Tyson story, which is hilarious because every single post made on Drumlert is made by the person who runs Drumlert, who is trans. So pretty funny and ironic. And when I point that out, then I have like the transphobic people saying that I'm like woke and a virus has taken over me because a trans person runs Drumlert. So we've got shit from both sides over this, and it's really annoying. We're only interested in the truth and the facts, and it's pretty frustrating at times.
Yeah, I've never viewed you that way, honestly. Like I feel like you're more like fact based, and it's it's the nature of your media too. But like look at your comments though, for example, during the Doctor Disrespect thing, people don't like him, right? And then during this issue, right? People are talking more about them being trans than anything else. Like if you're really going to be about protect the kids, let's talk about the kids. Okay, nobody older. Okay, regardless of like if you think the jokes were edgy, nobody should be friends with that many minors like that. Like even when I play World of Warcraft, right? Like a lot of the good players like are really young. Like there's a really good monk that's like 16. There's like one of the best rogues in the game right now. I met him when he was 14, right? And we competed together. But you you don't befriend like a bunch of his teenage friends, right? You don't start like talking to him like in weird sexual ways. To me it was always weird, like why would we ever talk about anything sexual ever? You know what I mean? People that old obviously should not be friends with minors, I think too. Like in general, like you can't put yourself in these situations.
Well, there was so many people that were running cover for Chris Tyson when the story like started. One of those being like our YouTube drama on Reddit. There was a post that said, "Okay, maybe Chris Tyson didn't groom, all right, but Chris Tyson supported a cartoon CP artist known as Shadman, and they took that down for misleading information. And that's where I broke my silence. And I was like, this is not misinformation. This is a fact. This is a known fact that he supported that artist. He even bought art from them. On stage now, we have raw alerts. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's just really shocking what happened. I think he did the right move, but the messages were just absolutely disgusting. But I'm just curious what's going to happen with the Mr. Beast company now. I don't know if it's going to hurt his company a lot, or is it, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I really don't know, but I do know this. They just did $100 million deal with Amazon to run a TV series over on Amazon Prime. So I don't know if this is going to affect it in any way. Um, but I will say this: like, Mr. Beast is so big, it's like almost like too big to fail. Like it's just too big. Um, obviously they did what they absolutely had to do, and is cut ties with Chris Tyson. Um, I think there's going to be criticism against Mr. Beast and people looking at him sideways for about a month. But I think ultimately Mr. Beast will be fine. That's my opinion.
And do you think they're going to cut Kai or whatever out of like the TV show, or what's going to happen with that?
I, as far as I know, Chris Tyson hasn't been filming with Mr. Beast recently, anyways.
Okay, so that's good, I guess.
That's what my sources are telling me.
I'm just wondering if he owns part of Mr. Beast currently, or if that's still in the works, and what's happening with that. Because I think that's such a big part of this whole thing.
Well,
Because
this
if
is
he's an
this is
owner, then it doesn't matter if he steps away.
this is what we know for a fact. He was in a Twitter battle with, I believe, Sneeko. Don't quote me on this. It's hard because we don't have the tweets. Because a month ago, Chris Tyson got into a fight with Nick Merckx and Sneeko and all these people, and this is the same time that Chris Tyson came at me in the DMs, and we had a not so friendly conversation back and forth. Um, and then a few days later, after all that drama died down, Chris Tyson deleted every single tweet on her account, but at one point, she was fighting with, I believe, Sneeko, and she straight up stated that she's an owner in Mr. Beast, that she has some shares in the company. So I would assume that Chris Tyson still has those shares.
You'll probably
Do
see
you
a
think
private
that's something
back soon.
that somebody would say like preemptively, like a little bit too soon, like it's in the works to happen, but it hasn't happened yet, but in her mind it's essentially happened, and would just blurt that out, especially during like a fight when
I
people
don't
are
think so. I don't think so. Like, for Chris Tyson to go out and publicly say that and it not be true, I think Mr. Beast would have fired her right away. Like, hey, why are you saying this? This is not true. I think she probably does own something in Mr. Beast.
okay.
Hey, there's one thing that I haven't really seen anyone talk about. Like it was like an hour after the Snapchat leaks came out. Um, Chris deleted their entire Snapchat account. So I don't know. I haven't really seen anyone talk about that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of deleting history on the internet. That's been going on for a month, and we did confirm. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this, but there was a former Mr. Beast employee that came out and made a video and basically said that Chris Tyson is a liability. Everyone at Mr. Beast knows this, but they can't get rid of her because she has so much dirt on the company and something along those lines. It took me all day, like literally all day, to try to confirm if this person actually worked at Mr. Beast, but I did probably an hour before I started this space. We did, in fact, 100% confirm that that is a former employee of Mr. Beast. He worked there for 90 days.
Working there for 90 days and having dirt on Mr. Beast, I feel like Mr. Beast wouldn't put himself in a situation to put a new editor. And I hate the fact I'm having to defend Mr. Beast in this conversation, but I don't know, just having a new hire, know a lot of information. I guess it's possible. I would be curious if it ever comes out.
Well, I mean, those of you that have 9 to 5s, you guys know how it works, right? When you go to work every day, everybody gossips, everyone talks shit. Like, I'm
True.
pretty
Exactly.
sure
True.
it's a situation like that.
Yeah.
Not only that, but if it's as bad as he says it is, who knows? Maybe it is right out in the open.
So I was being recruited to work on the Mr. Beast creative team at one point, and I'm not trying to flex anything, but I had to turn it down because I do pretty good on YouTube, and I would have to like work a lot, which I don't want to do. But a friend of mine was being recruited at the same time, and he actually went, and they do a thing called a vibe check. So you fly out, they fly you out there, and then you hang out for like a few days to a week, and they just kind of it's the last part of the process of how they hire people. And what my friend said was that they uh, they said that you only work so many hours and you don't work weekends and stuff, but they just make everyone work really fucking hard. Like you have to work a ton of hours, and if you're a YouTuber and you take a job over there, you're not allowed to like work on your own channel anymore and all this stuff. So it's just like a ton of work. And I'm assuming like what Keem said with 9 to 5 shit, especially with that high intense environment, there's probably a lot of stuff that you see and hear when you work there. And my friend, he said, fuck that. And he came back here and he makes a lot of money doing editing for somebody. And he was like, nah, I'm not taking that. And he came back to Colorado.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
there's not
that's a
time for
great point.
socializing outside the workplace, it'll definitely leach in inside.
If that's the case, I feel like this is just the beginning of finding out a lot of stuff then. I don't imagine all this stuff to not ever come out.
Mean, everyone keeps saying this is the tip of the iceberg, right? And as soon as somebody uh, starts leaking a little bit of blood, they go for the fucking throat. We already have Rosanna, who I don't know if you know this, but she's a content creator who finished in like third place in the hide and go seek challenge. This is like a year ago or something in a Mr. Beast video. And they edited it a certain way to make it seem like she finished like fifth or something, and she was highly offended and came out and started like exposing Mr. Beast. This whole story was so fucking dumb and stupid. I actually defended Mr. Beast in this situation because it's like, who cares if you were third or fifth? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is not a reason to call out Mr. Beast for his videos being fake. Like, come on, it's the fucking editor and how they edited it. Like, chill out. Um, but anyhow, recently, now that this has happened, she's come out with a new allegation. Her new allegation is Mr. Beast told her that she should run her Facebook through this random company. So she took his advice and did it. And then that company destroyed her Facebook. And she found out later that Mr. Beast owned the company. So we're already starting to see like this whole thing unravel where people are coming out of the woodwork and, hey, I got a Mr. Beast story, you know?
Yeah.
Mr. Beast doesn't want to record his videos in 4K because he says it feels too corporate and it doesn't feel like a YouTuber. But so far, all his actions and all these stories feels very corporate and not very YouTubery, which is pretty contradicting to what he's trying to be.
Well, with all the footage that he actually records, another good reason for that is the storage that 4K takes up. He probably
Yeah,
that's
true, true.
terabytes.
I'm
I
just
think that
thinking
that's no
of
problem. They
this.
can afford all that shit right now. But one thing that's really interesting is that they just filmed Beast Games in Las Vegas, and they had 2,000 people there. And my wife and a bunch of my friends participated in this, and it's for the Amazon Prime thing. They're competing for $5 million. It's the biggest game show in history, and apparently it was like a big clusterfuck, and a lot of people were like not giving enough food. Like there was very little food, and people were like starving. My wife said she lost like 5 pounds. She's all proud of it. But that's and everyone is there voluntarily as well. But one thing is like people weren't allowed to have access to their medicine because they left their medicine in their bags, and they had to keep their bags in their hotel room or wherever. And then all their bags got left behind when they got on buses to go to the stadium to film the video. So there was a lot of hospitalizations, and um, it's kind
I
of
can
getting
back up that
overshadowed.
story. Drumler already has two sources that are trying to feed a similar story to us that were there and had all kinds of issues and complaints. Like, I can back that up. We have multiple sources trying to reach out to us now.
Sounds like TanaCon Mr. Beast edition.
Yeah, I think that it's not like anything like it was on purpose. I think they were just underprepared. I think Mr. Beast, he's a big can do, big dick swinging motherfucker. So he's just taking on anything. He's like, I'll do the $100 million show, but he's never done 2,000 people. And like one thing that I was told was that like when they're eating food in like a chow hall. It reminds me of I was in the Marines a long time. It's like you sit in there and you're not allowed to talk, and if you talk, then you get in trouble. So and the people they'd be like, "Shut up, stop talking," and tell everyone to sit there in silence and eat their food. Really weird stuff. I'm not sure if that's like intentional for the video or if maybe a lot of the staff are just a little bit overwhelmed by 2,000 contestants.
Yeah, similar stories we've gotten as well. But look, let's focus on like what's really happening here online. I've been doing Drumlet since 2012, and every single year there are five major pedo allegations, something to do with an influencer and minors.
And Minecraft.
And it always seems to be like someone that um, is either like a Minecraft YouTuber that has an all kids audience, or, someone that has a mostly kids audience. That's mostly when these issues come up. I mean, the Dr. Disrespect one, I would argue, is a little bit different. Um, but I'm shocked over and over again how often this story happens. With the Chris Tyson thing, he can say, okay, well, back in 2017 and 18, we were just getting our start. That was before, he was wildly popular, I guess, or she was. Um, but like the Dr. Disrespect story, like that one really gets me. I mean, you have fame, money, success, a beautiful family. You've already got exposed for cheating on your wife, and allegedly, the story goes that the girl in question, according to the Twitch employees, said, "Hey, look, I'm underage," and Dr. Disrespect responded saying, "Oh, no problem." Like, what? If that really took place, like what the actual fuck is going
We haven't
on?
seen
Blood's
the actual
cooked.
text though, like we have with Chris. With
No.
Chris, we've seen actual real evidence, and then and everything to this point, even like Slasher has himself has not seen the actual text. It's like hearsay from him. It's still technically hearsay with Doc. Not defending it, like I like he admitted it, so there's that. But like what was actually said,
Yeah, but
nobody that's been
the
talking about it has actually
hearsay.
seen it.
Yeah, but the hearsay isn't just from some random person. They're from former Twitch employees, which is it's not just a.
So who are those people? And we want to know what the words were. That's all I'm saying. It's
Oh,
a
I
I
agree. I agree with you
I bet it's
100%.
I wonder if it's worse than Chris or less worse. That's an interesting thought.
What do you guys think? Do you think this is going to keep happening? I
Oh,
mean,
certainly.
these are some of our biggest stars. I mean, look at Cody Ko. Are you familiar with Cody Ko and that whole
Yeah,
situation?
yeah. I
I've
feel
heard.
like it's kind of.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just no, you're good.
For those of you that don't know, Cody Ko is a massive YouTuber, and the allegation is that he was down in Florida at Playlist Live, and he was 25 years old at the time. Tana Mojo was 17. They were making out, and Gabby Hanna runs up to Cody Ko, pulls him to the side, and says, "Hey, that girl's 17." And Cody Ko says to Gabby Hanna, "Well, thank you so much. I didn't know that. I appreciate that." And then later that night, allegedly, he fucked her. And Tana has come out and said this is true. Gabby has said this is true. Cody Ko is choosing to just ignore it and act like this doesn't even exist and there's no allegation. In fact, in the middle of the controversy, he appeared in Las Vegas and just started DJing in front of an audience and hasn't said a single word online. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Do you
So
think
does Tana care?
DJing? Sorry.
Yeah, he was straight up DJing in front of like maybe 100 people at like one of these pool parties in Las Vegas.
I was gonna ask, do you think him DJing is worse of a response than Sienna? I think that's her name, Sienna May, where she did that like weird dance as a response.
I forgot about that.
I can't
I,
figure out
I
which one's worse. I guess hers is because she was on video, like on her own YouTube. But it's still so crazy.
what about the similar? What is that YouTuber that played the ukulele?
Colleen Ballinger, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Colleen Ballinger also talked
Crazy.
insanely inappropriate with children, right? Throughout her whole career. And she got on a fucking ukulele or whatever I can't even say the correct term, and just sang a song apologizing for speaking inappropriate with kids. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
It's
I
got
do
to be
remember
like an
that. That was
ego
great.
thing. Sorry, go on. You're good.
No, no, no. That's it.
I personally want an apology from Chris Tyson. Like, this is the one story that's like it got personal with me. it got really personal. She supported this artist that drew cartoon child porn. Like that's what this artist was known for. She purchased art from them. I confronted her a month ago and she didn't apologize. In fact, she just started accusing me of all different other kinds of shit that wasn't true. Um, and I still have no apology. There's no
Would
response to the DMs.
would the apology even be sincere at this point? Because it's like, okay, Moist Critical made a video, time to apologize. I feel like that's how it'd be.
Exactly.
I don't care that it's sincere. I still like you're gonna fucking say
Yeah,
sorry.
fair enough, fair
I
enough.
don't
Fair enough.
care.
Yeah, just like we
You're
were
gonna
saying
type
earlier with
out your
damage
fucking
control.
phone in my DMs. I am sorry, Keem. Like, bro, that conversation that I had with Chris Tyson a month ago set me so off the fucking rails. I was fucking spam texting Mr. Beast, fucking calling up managers, being like, that motherfucker. Like, dude.
Have we gotten any word on Jake the Viking yet?
Yeah, where is he?
Let me ask.
He's in here. He just needs to be brought
Oh
up.
yeah, he's right there.
Can he request? I don't see him.
Jake, request to come up here. Everyone's waiting for Jake.
So we're here now, baby.
There he is. What's up, Jake?
Hey, what's up, man? I want to say that, Kim, you held your cool, and I think you did a really good job about that with your daughter being involved. That was just fucked.
Yeah, I've been on tilt for about 30 days over it. It's been kind of hard to hold my cool.
You did a great job, dude.
So, where are you at in this whole situation? You said, I think the most important tweet that you put out in reference to the story is that Jimmy knew.
Yeah.
Could you explain like a little bit more details what you mean by that?
My biggest thing, and like you know him, and I just got out doing an official statement with Geeks and Gamers because I see D-Day Cobra's in here, just so no one can get what I'm saying mixed up. But my whole thing is Chris and Jimmy lived together for, what, 2 years? They were always around each other. And if you were near Chris, Chris was always making, I would call it locker room talk every now and then. And so with this stuff kind of going on behind the scenes, if they're living together, they had the sticker of I guess they're called lollies in their office. There's no way Jimmy didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy definitely knew that, Chris was edgy and making inappropriate jokes and all that. Definitely knew, for sure.
And Jimmy was a part of that with the lava and Minecraft Discord because that's who they had doing all the Minecraft servers for all the competition videos and the Beast Gaming stuff.
But do you think that Jimmy knew that Chris had this obsession with lolicon or cartoon child porn, or like do you think he really knew that extent? I know there's a Mr. Beast video with that fucking poster on the wall, but like do you think he like really knew?
I'd say yes. I'd wager to say yes because of
How
how much they both talked about anime. And then some of the comments I've heard Chris say
anime,
about some anime characters.
bro?
Yeah, then you start getting into hentai, and then that leads you straight into lolly. So
Bro, because he likes hentai and anime. It's obvious that he do. And I mean, honestly, why would he know that like somebody he's associating with is DMing someone? That's a DM. I think that's a big reach, to be honest.
we're not talking about the D. I mean, we're talking about more so of Chris just being overly obsessive with porn, which we know he was, because if you had a conversation with him, there's always something made about sexual or pornographic content.
Yeah, but that's
And
such a
so then
huge
now you
leap. That's such a huge leap. Like he likes
that's
anime, he likes hentai, like he's obsessed with
that's
porn,
not a leap when you
pedophile.
see everything that's
Like,
coming out when he's got a damn
I mean,
lolly
yeah, it's coming
picture
out
in
in
their
DMs.
office.
It's coming out in DMs. Like, how would Mr. Beast know about his DMs with a bunch of minors? Like, well,
If we
I
could take
don't
a
think
little if we could take a tiny little break from this debate here, we do have gays against groomers on stage. Now, during the midst of this, there was a whole, if you talk about Chris Tyson, you're being transphobic. And then there was actually like transphobic people like making up lies about Chris Tyson. So this was got really confusing, and the organization Gays Against Groomers came out with a statement saying what they seen that Chris Tyson was involved in was wrong, which I thought was a pivotal moment in all this. Go ahead, Gays.
Hey, thank you for posting an article we wrote, and just like, getting this person taken off of YouTube. We're wondering where Mr. Beast is and his public apology, because we deserve a public apology for what has, occurred. There is nothing transphobic or anti anything about calling out child predators. This man is a creep. He is a paraphilic narcissist, and it is an absolute disgrace the fact that this is the most subscribed YouTube channel and that he is on it all the time. It's disgusting. And there are kids watching it. What kind of person would present themselves as a role model for LGBTQ plus, whatever the acronym is anymore, or the for kids, and then be creeping on them? I think all the screenshots that we posted, we verified that they were real, and we're just waiting for it to be acknowledged by the person who runs that YouTube channel. And I think that regardless of what identity this man goes by, we deserve to be told the truth, and be made aware of what happened and what is going on, because all of these kids are watching this guy's YouTube channel and looking up to this person. They're the ones defending this person against these, quote, transphobic accusations, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. And also, if you're going to sit there and say that calling out child molesters or people who send CP to children or possess it or everything, it just keeps getting worse, then what are you saying about the trans community? If being a predator is transphobic, then what are you implying about transgenders? Interesting. I think it is absolutely ridiculous that anybody would make the claim that it is somehow hateful to want to protect children from people like this. But this man is a monster. He is disgusting, and he needs to be taken off the internet. We saw that he was removed from that YouTube channel, and we want him gone forever. We want to make that clear, and we're not going to back down until we get answers. Thank you very much for recognizing our organization and for reposting us today. We really appreciate you. And this is
No,
something that has been bothering us for a while.
I think you're an important voice, and I just learned about you, but my team knew about you for quite some time, because there is this like anti-LGBTQ. Everybody in the LGBTQ is groomers and like stuff like that, and I hate that so much. That infuriates me. But then you get the just as you explained, then you have someone that's legitimately caught red-handed being a groomer and then being defended by the LGBTQ on Twitter. And it's so this shit infuriates me so much. But very good statement, and I thought it was really important that you guys came out and made your statement. I appreciate that. Go ahead,
Thank
Jake.
you.
Jake, do you have more?
I mean, yeah, I mean, but I stand by that. If it's your best friend that you're living with, you're spending countless hours with. I mean, the whole story, and I made this in my statement. The whole story about Chris Snapchatting the underage girl that worked for Roblox that sent him his first pair of Gucci slides came out on the private jet flight to Vegas for Jimmy's birthday, and Chris was very easily open talking about him Snapchatting such a young individual. It's blatantly obvious that Jimmy knew.
Brad, you've been defending Mr. Beast pretty hard. You got anything to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that Jimmy himself is under any imperative to talk on it. Everybody who knows Jimmy knows he's like one of the busiest guys literally on the planet. He's always doing stuff and he's always working. And anybody that has seen a predator or a piece of shit knows that they do it behind the scenes and they're a slimy person. They're not openly talking about these types of things. I think we can all say what Chris did was disgusting. I just don't see how that ties into the Mr. Beast brand or how that makes Jimmy a bad person or why he would have to make a big public apology
Yeah,
on it.
if I could real quick speak on that to defend Mr. Beast. I know this guy, and this guy is not like normal like everyone else. Like he is only thinking about his YouTube and his YouTube videos. Like he is literally only thinking about that. He never really talks about anything else. And any conversation I've ever had with him, even when he was before he had 1 million subscribers, and I would have conversations with him, it's really one track mind. It's only the next video and all that. Go ahead, Gaze Against Groomers.
I mean, of course he should apologize and say something about it. He has been platforming and promoting a pervert who preys on children for what, months, years? I'm not sure how long, but we are really upset about it. And you said, he's not normal. Well, I guess we're speaking on behalf of the normie gays that we're, people in the community, so-called, whatever the alphabet is, need to call it out and need to say, listen, saying that this person is a predator and this person shouldn't be on YouTube is not phobic. I just think that this person, Mr. Beast, has no excuse to not speak up because he is the person who has been promoting, this Kris Tyson individual while they were actively preying on children. I think there's no excuse.
I want to ask you something. So when you say that people are calling out Kris Tyson is transphobia, who are you referring to when you talk about that?
The host was talking about it.
No, like
I was just talking about
who is saying like calling out Kris Tyson is transphobia? Who's
Who
saying?
we
Oh
got
my
up there?
god! Oh my god! All of Twitter, every post that I've made in reference to the Kris Tyson story or situation, there are replies saying you're just transphobic.
All
Like
right.
I can
that's
So
second that.
I have to dose reality this, I swear, a little bit because so I'm just reading off of one of your like comments about like the situation or one of your posts about it. Let's see. They are always groomers. 327 likes, 5 comments. The children are safe again. 453. Most trans people are groomers. 1.1k likes. You have to scroll down maybe to the very bottom to see maybe some people like that. But the vast majority of comments are people implying, right, that
yeah,
all
but that's
trans
kind of
people are
after.
groomers and
uh,
pedophiles.
Yeah, but X, you're on some new tweets where Chris already stepped away from Mr. Beast. We're talking when this story first broke.
This is your post from 12 hours ago. And when your post first broke, those comments are on those posts as well. Those are the posts you're gonna see. Like, yeah, I don't see like especially any
Maybe
like
they got downvoted, but I've seen them all
downvoted on Twitter.
for the last 48 hours. I mean, that's all I've seen. When I say downvoted, other people like the once the story changes, the comments that say, I know he's guilty, rise to the top, and the ones that defend him go to the bottom because they get unliked.
I can second everything Keem has just said too, and I don't think it would be his fault that he's got not anything against you, Keem, but you got a toxic audience. A lot of that shit is going to be pushed to the top, and there's nothing he can do about that.
Go ahead, Gaze Against Groomers.
I mean, Jamie Michelle is in the audience. She is our founder and president. And if she was caught red-handed sending weird things to kids, yes, we would absolutely call it out and we would absolutely denounce it. This is the worst possible thing a person can be, is someone who acts inappropriately towards children. And if we don't call it out, then who is going to? The people defending this person. And also Mr. Beast in the past, last April, said that, people being transphobic, it was getting absurd. Kris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. So if he's defended this person in the past, yeah, he should say, I should have never defended them. I should have never platformed them. And I shouldn't have promoted him towards an audience of children. I think that he is complicit in the problem and it's not like he doesn't know about what's going on. Maybe he's busy or whatever, but we deserve more respect than that. And it's just too much at this point to not say anything. And, not saying anything says everything.
Yeah, I really want a statement, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I was going
want
to say the same thing, Keem. I don't think we're going to get one.
Yeah, we're not going to get one. I want to bring up Raw Alerts again. Raw Alerts covers like breaking news way before the mainstream media. The mainstream media gets news wrong all the time. Raw Alerts gets it correct. Great account. Make sure you're following Raw Alerts. What are you seeing in the mainstream about this story, Raw Alerts? If you could speak a little bit on that.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the mainstream talking about it. I just seen articles being written, but nothing really on TV or anything like that. So they're probably being very quiet about it, which is very weird.
Go ahead, Gays Against Groomers.
Has anybody else noticed that if a man preys on children, then he is immediately dragged through the mud and shunned from all, the internet and entertainment? But the second they put on some lipstick, all of a sudden they're immune from accountability. Why is that?
How
That's
is
ridiculous.
Chris Tyson immune from accountability right now? What world are we living in?
Bro, the fact that no one else is speaking up about this like they did when Dr. Disrespect stuff came out shows that he's immune to this. Like, we have actual proof, screenshots, recordings, confession by Lava, even though everyone's missing that because Keem talked to him where he said, yes, we talked and we had inappropriate, edgy jokes made. Again, that's a 20-year-old talking to a 13-year-old. But yet Doc talking to a 17-year-old, supposedly, where in some states that's, age of consent, that blows up bigger
Jesus.
than the 20-year-old speaking to a 13-year-old. You say, holy Jesus, says everything.
There is a massive
I mean, he's
difference between
44
the
and
amount of
she's
outrage between the
17. So
two
I mean,
things. It's so obvious. Anybody saying that there's no difference between the two is out of their mind.
Well, X made a point earlier, which I will reiterate it that the Dr. Disrespect story was like ongoing. He got banned. No one knew why he got
we
banned, and
were
then it
edged
eventually
for
came
4
out.
years. This has been one day.
Yeah.
Like, come on, how much outrage? You think we're gonna get 4 years of outrage in one day? Let's live in reality, people.
When we have
Okay, but
well,
no,
more,
no,
well,
no, no, no,
no.
no,
we
no, no,
have
no, 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 no. No, this should be on television. This should be on the cover of newspaper magazines. This should be
agreed.
on the front of every newspaper. This is something that needs to be called out. Now, this is the most popular channel on YouTube. He's had billions of views. A lot of them are children. There is no excuse. And if it was anybody, people put on the trans label in order to not, in order to not have to take accountability, or anything they do is that's transphobic, you can't call them out. But if this was someone who was not trans identified, then it would be everywhere. Not enough articles have been written by the mainstream press,
I'm sorry.
and that's
I
why.
just have to make this stand. Like, I don't know how. Like, I'm just unsure how I'm living in this reality where, like, I can't go. Like, I play World of Warcraft, right? I stream World of Warcraft mostly, right? I can't go like 2 seconds on my page, even yesterday, without saying people, trans are pedophiles. You should never be able to have kids. So these people are freaks. Blah blah blah, nonstop. I don't know how you can I don't know how you can imply that being trans is some sort of protection against like pedophilia. I don't understand how you can say that. And can you
Because
name anyone that's like become trans to avoid pedophilia, like allegations, and that's paid off? Like, what are you referring to?
They're a protected community. Everybody's too afraid to speak against them.
Bro, in California, there was a person locked up for assaulting 2 children and he was moved to this is a grown man, moved to a juvenile hall for teenage girls because he identifies as a girl. Now, this is a person who has assaulted girls. He's housed with girls. That is absolutely ridiculous. And saying that this is something that won't happen if we don't sit there and call it out. I mean, people online, random individuals on social media, I'm talking about the mainstream press. That's what we're talking about. I think that he needs to be dragged and he needs to be, just deleted from everything. There's children who should be told by this man running the channel that this was not okay and that he promises to not let it happen again. How do we know
I
it's
mean,
not going to
Mr.
happen
Beast
again?
platformed them. He literally platformed them. I really got to agree with Jake and disagree with Brad because if I'm not mistaken, I believe Chris publicly stated that Jimmy knew that she had feelings of, and I'm going to be careful with what I say because I might misspeak on this, but feelings of wanting to transition into another gender, which implies they had those deep conversations and they weren't only just focusing on work. They did have deep conversations. Now, whether it was about these extremely inappropriate conversations, I can't tell you, but what we do know is Chris was never private about this. You can see by the Twitter, you can see by the Reddit, you can see by all her activities. It's very obvious she was never private about this. So for people to say that Jimmy or Mr. Beast didn't know, I have a hard time believing he had his head that so hyper focused into content that he didn't even have the slightest idea of who his roommate was.
I mean, I don't
Oh,
understand how we can claim that this person is somehow a role model for children, but won't even address the fact that the person he's been partnering with over the past few years is a pedophile. I think
Yes.
Chris Tyson belongs in jail, and we're not going to stop speaking out about it until he's punished appropriately. And no matter who wants to speak out about it, who doesn't want to speak out about it, we're the ones who are going to, because maybe people are afraid of what they say on Twitter. They're going to be called phobic, but they're afraid. Good thing we're not. That's
That I was going to follow up
Oh,
on that
I
too.
have a
They're
point.
afraid, like Pokimane and all those people are afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose out on their chance in being in a Beast video.
They
That's
did
why
speak up.
so
It
many
just wasn't
people are
as
scared.
harshly with Doctor Disrespect.
Okay, so I think I under so I want to clear up one thing first. Like I feel like people really get into team sports. I am not like I'm getting DMs. Like I'm not like a liberal for any chance for people calling me like a lefty, blah blah blah. Number two, I think the reason that people are like hesitant to speak on it is kind of because of the reaction a lot of people have, where you're turning like an entire group of people and calling them pedophiles, right? So a lot of them feel like, well, if I speak on this, right, that an entire community, right, is going to get blasted.
There's other
But
reasons
my,
too.
my thing is you have to, right? What they did is weird. It's weirdo fucking behavior. I wasn't going to talk about Dr. Disrespect, then not come here and talk about this, right? Obviously, this is wrong as well, right? But I think the response of some people that are in here as well, like of attacking like trans people, is part of the reason people don't speak out as much, right? Because if you're Pokimane, you don't want to like bring hate towards your trans friends. And right now, we're making somehow pedophilia synonymous with being trans, which
I
is
think you could
absolutely
separate the two
stupid.
no,
there.
no.
Look at your comments, bro. Seriously, go to your first tweet about the stuff, okay? And
You said
read the
we
most
No,
popular
are.
ones.
We are.
Or
You
not we,
there's
not we,
two.
not we. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But in general,
You got to understand that there's two armies, right? And the way I see it, the leaders of these armies a month ago were Chris Tyson and the trans army versus Nick Merckx and the transphobic army. Like these are the two armies in this space that have been battling it out for an entire month, and this is the result of it all. Um, the trans community got their first blow with burying Dr. Disrespect, and the Nick Merckx team got the second blow by taking out Chris Tyson. I mean, this is literally what happened if you're really into this entertainment space.
Are
Those were
people
the
really going to
leaders.
are people really going to sit here and say that the feelings of adult men are more important than the safety of children? Because if so, then you are literally on crack.
I find it weird that you keep bringing up Keem's comments like he's directing the hate towards these trans people. It's pattern recognition when people keep calling these trans people pedophiles. It's not because they just hate trans people. I don't hate trans people. I you know, it's that's exactly what it is. It's not nobody's sending hate. Nobody can control this. And it's almost victimhood mentality for you to sit here and be like, "Oh, but we shouldn't." I don't. It's weird.
I never said
What you're
that.
saying is
Well,
mad.
I never said that Keem, right? I never said that Keem is transphobic. I never like what Keem is saying is fine, right? It's just the general temperature of like people on the internet, right? And the comment sections of people, right? No, I didn't necessarily mean anybody in here either. And also, like I'm not defending Chris Tyson. I'm just defending the people that these people that I'm talking about aren't like a lot of the people in this call, okay? They're people, right, that literally more so like hate trans people or people that don't even care about the issue and they're more so interested in the team sports aspect of it. And I'm just pointing out that if you go into the comments of like what's happening, like you're seeing 80% of it about that. Seriously, it's that stupid.
Okay, yes, that's true. There's a lot of team sports, but what's your opinion on it?
Like about the Chris Tyson situation overall.
Yes.
Oh well, like okay, like there's no reason that like even if like even devil's advocating, right, like making edgy jokes or whatever and blah blah blah, and that's just the nature of the times, right? you should never in any situation be friends with that many 14-year-olds. Let's say, for example, like it's just edgy jokes and he's not like soliciting sex from minors. Why are there so many? My guy, you can't get some friends your own age, bro. Like there's a lot of cool 20-year-olds out there. Like there shouldn't be like 7, 8 people. Yeah, like I speak out. Like he wasn't grooming me, but like why you got so
So
many
X,
teenage friends? That's weird.
do you think Mr. Beast should make a statement and speak out?
Um, I don't see why he shouldn't. There's nothing wrong with putting out a statement that says pedophilia is bad. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Why not? I feel like he probably should, to be honest. But is that the smart thing to do? Probably not, honestly.
If he wants to be more than a YouTuber, because he did mention president, if he wants to be more than a YouTuber, might be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely put out a statement on it if that is still his plans, for sure.
That's a great point.
But in a way, I guess like maybe to like him, right? Like it's still kind of like in this gray area space where it's more like people are viewing it maybe more as edgy jokes and the victim like came out and defended her, right? So maybe he doesn't want to give like legitimacy to it by addressing it. I know some people like that. Maybe that's what it is.
But last April, he came out and defended Chris because people were being transphobic. He said, "Oh, I've had enough of these comments." So he can defend his trans identified friend, but can't defend the children who are being victimized by this person. There is no excuse.
Well, Chris's identity, right, is a solidified thing, right? What's going on right now is an allegation so far, right? So that's an entirely different thing. Like,
Go
How
ahead,
was it an
Jake.
allegation when he admitted he apologized on his ex?
yeah, he apologized for inappropriate behavior. He didn't come out and say, or she didn't come out and say, like, I'm grooming minors, like I'm literally soliciting sex from minors, blah blah blah.
Oh, come
Regardless,
on now.
regardless,
Come
regardless,
on.
like I said, what Chris Tyson did is literally disgusting, right? And I don't defend what they did, and what they did is wrong. And like being friends with that many minors raises questions, right? And somebody calling Chris Tyson a groomer is not far fetched at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like devil's advocating, I'm not like
Well, he
defending.
didn't come out and apologize or talk about it until people started calling him a groomer and people started calling him out, and people like Drama Alert were posting our articles and our statements because he had no other choice to. If people just ignored it, then would he have said anything? I don't know. Mr. Beast is suspiciously quiet. It's really not a good look.
Yeah,
It
he's
needs to
only
be
saying
addressed.
something. He's only saying something now because it's a threat to the Mr. Beast company. That's the only reason why anything is happening right now. It's a threat to the
I
Mr.
literally put out a tweet on this. Okay,
I would say
I
that's true.
confronted Chris Tyson in private a month ago when Chris Tyson was accusing me of being transphobic and all this other stuff, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! Just because we're covering your beef with Nick Merckx, it doesn't mean that we're transphobic. Do you not know that the person that's making all these posts on Dromler is trans? And I said, you have some nerve. You're the one that supported this artist who made cartoon CP, lolicon porn throughout the years. The same artist that drew my 8-year-old daughter in a sexual way back in 2016. And he or she, Chris Tyson, did not apologize. In fact, the response I got back infuriated me to the point where I was like, calling Mr. Beast, texting everyone, talking to manager. I was so fucking heated by how this person, Chris Tyson, spoke to me and talked to me and didn't even acknowledge their wrongdoing. But today, only today, after everyone's covering the story, we get a half-ass apology. So yeah, I don't think Chris Tyson is sorry at one bit.
It's ridiculous that, like, for instance, us calling out Chris Tyson, we were called anti-LGBTQ, despite the fact that we're literally all gay. And if you're going to say that it's transphobic to call out transgender predators, then what are you implying about trans people in the trans community? We don't hate trans people or the trans community. But they're using this as a cover to say that it's phobic to call it out, and it isn't. And if you're a person with morals and a conscience, then you're going to call it out. And Keemstar, we're really sorry about what happened with your daughter. We weren't aware of that. That's terrible.
It's just absolutely insane. Go ahead, Jake.
I was going to say first, that apology we got today by Chris is not an apology. Saying, I'm sorry your feelings got hurt or I'm sorry you got offended is not an apology. That's a half-assed bullshit statement that some lawyer writ up just because they had to make a statement. But going back to Jimmy saying something, I think he would gain a lot of respect from a lot of people if he came out and said, look, I was wrong when he defended Chris about all the stuff that was going on a couple months ago, and then came out and condemned Chris's behavior and then went to move forward. I think he could gain a lot of respect, but he's taking way too long to do it.
I actually agree with that 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what Mr. B should do in this scenario. Exactly.
But when is too long? Because we're already over 24 hours now.
I don't know. Is
Not
that
happening.
video? Is that video from the Mr. Beast employee that only worked there for 90 days? Do you think there's any truth to that? He says they will not get rid of Chris Tyson, who is a liability to the Mr. Beast company, because Chris Tyson has a lot of dirt on the company. Do you think that's true? What that employee said?
From what I knew back when I was there for 2 years, I would say yes, it's got some truth to it.
So you think, Jake, that Chris Tyson has a ton of dirt on Mr. Beast himself and his company?
Most likely. And
So
that's why
you
it's gone. That's why it's gone on for this long. And I was going to make a comment about this later. I don't think Chris Tyson is truly stepping away from the company. He's only stepping away from the public eye.
No, well, yeah, because he literally said in a conversation with Sneeko that he owns a percentage of Mr.
Yeah.
Beast.
And big news bomb. Apparently, I was being told from a very reliable source, his percentage of ownership was about to drastically increase after his divorce with Katie went through.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
and
he was
That's
about to hustle the mother of his child, or she was about to
that's what
hustle
I
the
said
mother.
earlier.
yep.
Oh
And
my
that's a very
God.
credible source that I got that from. So yeah,
Sonny V2's getting all the praise now.
Well, I mean, I think we talked this one to death. I'm probably going to wrap it up unless there's any final things that the panel would like to say.
Chris Tyson belongs in jail.
I second that.
I think Chris needs liar tattooed on her head.
Let street justice do its thing.
Oh my god.
By the way, for those of you that are fans of my podcast, Local Live on YouTube, the last stream we had 20,000 concurrent viewers. We will be streaming tomorrow on Local Live on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern. And Boogie2988, who faked cancer, will be getting a tattoo of liar put on him for being a fucking
How
liar.
big?
Guys,
How big
No.
will it be on his head?
I don't know yet. You're gonna have to tune into the stream. I don't know if I can even do it because I'll probably get canceled for making Boogie get this tattoo. But I don't know. It's kind of all up in the air. I don't really know what's gonna happen. But we will be live on Local Live tomorrow, and it should be pretty fun. Thank you guys. Thanks for everyone tuning in, and I appreciate everyone's opinions. We don't have to agree, but we do have to voice our opinions because if we don't, then what are we doing? We're NPCs, right?
Do more spaces. I feel like you could do way more if you wanted to.